If you haven't already seen it, go take a look at my video detailing the best messaging apps of 2019. As a compliment, this video goes through a larger pool of participants, but from a straight feature standpoint. Who has what and who doesn't have what. Instead of being a subjective take on what I think makes something the best, we'll give each messenger on this list 1 point if they have the feature, 0 points if they don't, and half a point if they're in the ballpark. Then you can decide for yourself which messenger reigns supreme. Edit messages. This is maybe my personal number one feature. Once you start using a messenger where you don't have to asterisk follow up every time you make a typo or autocorrect, it's so hard to go back. It's the standard across social media as well, besides Twitter where people have been crying for it for years. Telegram, Wire, and Slack all get points here while the rest of the crew get goose eggs. Signal, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and iMessage. Dark mode. If iOS finally has dark mode, there is zero reason for any software not to. Apple are the kings of making fashionably late to the party seem entirely unfashionable. The walled garden of all white, brushed aluminum, and no hard edges finally bent to the will of the people this fall, which means it's now officially too late to still be without it. Signal, Wire, and Facebook Messenger all have a basic dark mode, so 1 point to all. Telegram goes a step further with different tinted dark modes and accent colors, so 2 points for them. Slack and iMessage get half points because they are bound to the system dark mode of the device. As much as I love all black everything, I'm sure some people like a little more choice. Voice calls. Whether from a security standpoint, an audio quality standpoint, or a what if I don't have cell service standpoint, being able to make a voice call is obviously a huge bonus, which also allows for international and intercontinental calls without ridiculous carrier fees. Everybody has it, so let's call this one a wash. Group voice and conference calls. For professional purposes, to make an impromptu family reunion, or to have a house meeting to tell Jeff he needs to stop leaving dirty dishes in the sink, you never know when you might need to get the whole crew on the line. iMessage, WhatsApp, Wire, Slack, and Facebook Messenger get points. Telegram and Signal don't. Video calls. For some, the video call has replaced voice calls altogether. I'm still old-fashioned and prefer audio calls because I don't have to put a shirt on or comb my hair, but hey, maybe Gen Z is onto something. All the platforms that support video calls, except Signal, also support group video calls, so 2 points to all of them, except Signal. The only one that doesn't is Telegram, and they miss big here. Honestly, I don't know why they still don't have either video calls or group video calls. I think it's one of the main things keeping users from making the switch, seeing as WhatsApp and FaceTime are still eating Telegram's video call lunch. Cross-platform. This is a tough one to score. For this, I'm requiring true cross-platform, meaning a standalone app, not one that mirrors your phone's connection to continue chatting. A mirrored app is little more than your phone with a full keyboard and easier access to local files. If you still need your phone nearby and connected to use it, it's not a different platform. Telegram, Facebook, Wire, and Slack all function independently on multiple devices. Signal allows a desktop device to be added, so half a point, and iMessage only works across Apple devices, so half a point to them too. WhatsApp's web and desktop clients mirror your phone, so 0. Truly delete messages. Some may consider this controversial, but I consider it essential, whether it's a 3 a.m. drunk thought, an overshare, or just something you don't want out in the ether forever. We should be able to decide when it's time for something we sent to disappear. Slack, Wire, and Telegram let you poof your messages away, but WhatsApp leaves a little gravestone in your chat for all to see. The other 3 apps have no chat-wide delete. Built-in GIF and sticker support. Text and emoji only get you so far, and as the weird internet continues to evolve, communicating in simple images can convey exact emotions, fuel inside jokes, and add an entirely new dimension to your chats beyond what the alphabet can. iMessage, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and Telegram all have both GIFs and stickers, 2 points each. Wire and Signal have GIFs for 1, and Slack gets half a point for their clunky external Giphy integration that works nothing like standard GIF search. Drafts. These shouldn't just be for email. If I have a long thought, I don't want to be forced to write it as a note or Google Doc and then transfer it. Similarly, if I'm in the middle of that thought and get interrupted, I don't want to lose my progress and come back to a blank message field. Telegram earns 2 points for not only local drafts, but cloud drafts that sync across all devices. Slack has local device-specific drafts, so 1 point. WhatsApp and Signal get half a point. The messages in progress seem to stay even if you force close the app, but there's no indication of them as drafts or any way to view your drafts, so it doesn't really function in the way you'd expect. Similarly, I don't see any Google results for them when it comes to dedicated drafts, so I wouldn't trust them with a term paper or important proposal. Facebook Messenger gets 0 points here because while on the mobile app there does seem to be the same sort of temporary cache, on the web app, if you go to close a chat with an unfinished message, it tells you that your message is unsent, and then when you close it, it disappears. Large user base. Let's face it, the network effect is real and is perhaps the number one factor when it comes to apps. People don't like downloading something new, making a new account, and getting used to a whole other set of features. I'm just mostly going to give points to the bigger fish, meaning hundreds of millions of users, and none to the smaller. Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Signal, iMessage, and Telegram have hundreds of millions of users each. Points awarded. Slack is a pretty big platform, but it's really only used for business, not personal. I can't imagine anyone using it as their preferred friends and family messenger. Wire is effectively empty, and for those reasons, those 2 get zeros. Advanced message options. Can you react? Can you pin a message? Can you reply, forward, @mention, send disappearing photos like a Snapchat, schedule messages, send silent messages so they don't make a notification? There's a lot of places for this to go. Like Userbase, it's going to be a little holistic, with points awarded according to how many of these a messenger hits. Telegram, 1 point, only missing reactions, which are rumored to be coming soon and were seen in a beta version for, I think, iOS earlier this fall. Slack, 1 point for reminders, reactions, forwards, pins, and mentions. Facebook Messenger, half a point for forward, reply, reaction, and mention. Wire, half a point for reply, mention, forward, like, and disappearing messages. WhatsApp, 0 points. iMessage, 0 points. And Signal, 0 points. Those either had just reply or replying and forwarding and maybe mentioning and reacting in the case of iMessage, but really there's not much to it. Effortless backup and sync. I don't know about you, but I don't ever want to have to worry about whether or not my chats are backed up somewhere. If having a device lost or stolen means all those photos, chats, and memories just vanish, that's no bueno. Same with switching devices, you should be able to pick up a new phone and just get cooking immediately. Slack, Facebook Messenger, and Telegram keep all your devices in sync, hands-free. WhatsApp, iMessage, and Wire all get half points here because they all have to be set up manually, either to an external cloud service like Google Drive or iCloud, or to a hardware backup, and in the case of Wire, only a hardware backup is allowed. Adding everything up, the final point totals are Signal, 5, WhatsApp and iMessage, 7.5, Wire, 9, Facebook Messenger, 9.5, Slack 10, and Telegram 12. Now, a handful of semi-subjective numbers alone don't tell the full story. There are some pretty big use cases that can completely shake this up. For example, iMessage's features only work if you and your friends are firmly locked in the walled garden of Apple. Same goes for Facebook Messenger. Some users who are very privacy-minded may want messages that only exist on their device or have end-to-end encryption everywhere, which would give Signal a leg up over Telegram. There is no one app to rule them all because we all communicate differently. Personally, much like my previous video, despite what the numbers may show here, I think Telegram and Signal are the two best messengers on this list. Signal lacks features on account of its security, while Telegram pushes the limit of what an app can do while still maintaining strong encryption practices. What this list really shows is that what's in the middle, the wires and WhatsApps, are failing to keep pace without much reason for it. I don't think there's a single feature that WhatsApp, Wire, Slack, iMessage, or Facebook Messenger beat Telegram to. Generally speaking, it looks like Telegram debuts new features, and then months or years down the line, the rest of the industry plant their flags after the trail's already been blazed. But that's probably a topic for another video.